call the meeting to order. Our first order of business is our financial statement month of November. Any questions or comments on that?
Just have one question on the AT&T bill. There's a court clerk phone that we're still paying for. Do we need to continue with that phone charge while we don't have a court clerk?
I don't know if we can stop that and redo it or get somebody, something we need to look into. Check into that, see how we can do the court clerk's phone.
That number is attached to our tickets. So whoever the new court clerk is that we put on, will have to have that phone.
Anything else? If there's no other questions or comments on that, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Finance statement. You got a second?
On that night.
Nay? Nay. Okay. And I'll vote yes. Okay, minutes, we have regular session and a couple personnel. Any questions on that?
Can we go on these individually?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do the regular session first. Need a motion on those?
I'll make a motion we set the regular session meeting minutes.
Second? All in favor? Personnel session on November 9th.
I have a question about these minutes, or just something that needs to be corrected on the bottom, on the motion to adjourn or the adjournment. It's just the motion and the second, not how the other numbers are.
It's an oversight. So we still need a motion on it.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to accept November 9th personnel meeting minutes.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, personnel session on the 23rd. Any motion on those?
I'll make a motion we accept the minutes from the 23rd.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I'm going to abstain since I wasn't in that meeting.
Okay. All right. At this time, I want to deviate from our agenda. We did ask Richard Crawford to show up, and instead of keeping him through the whole meeting, we'll let him address the council. Richard is from the University of Missouri. Back some time ago at one of the Mayor's Association meetings, the association decided that they'd be willing to do a study on the communities of our size. They'd be willing to pay an amount of $2,500 for this study. And as the way this is found out or wound up, I think Richard and them are doing these. So Richard, if you want to kind of address the council as to what you can come up if you want to, and
I'll come up so everybody can see me, although it's not too hard not to see me when you're my size. I've got business cards up here for anybody to take home if you want. As the mayor said, my name is Richard Crawford and I'm with University of Missouri Extension, and I'm a community economic developer. I serve the state, but I'm housed here in Southeast Missouri. I'm up in Jackson, is where my home county is. And the project that we're talking about is bringing a community-initiated effort to determine if the community wants either a truck stop restaurant, or whatever when I-57 comes through. Okay, that's the money that the New Madrid County Council of Mayors has appropriated for. Okay. We met with the mayor earlier this month to talk about the process, and I'll take you kind of through the process, and in doing so, we'll explain, and there should be extras, and so I'll just let you all pass out after I leave, or however you want to do that.
Y'all should have that.
Okay, you may have it already, so I mean, I can pass them out this way if you want, or.
I've got one for each family board member.
Okay. So, might take one for every two or something like that, if you don't mind. We're talking about a, yes ma'am?
Oh, no, I just wanted the sheet.
Oh, okay. We're talking about a community-oriented process, which means it comes from the community. You help make the decisions. You help drive the future of that project. You also you help make the decision if it's going to happen or not. Okay? The way we work is we work with the community. We've talked with the mayor about this, that my division of University of Missouri Extension involves the community. Okay? I have been in communities where the community said no, so we didn't go in. I have been in communities where the city council said no, and we didn't go in. Okay? So we work with the community, we work with the government in place for that. The process that we're recommending is doing strategic doing. And I'll take you through that process. We will form initially a local leadership team made up of representatives from the community. There'll be about probably 10 people on that committee. They are the steerers, the drivers of this project. My role with University of Missouri Extension and my team, which is Mike Milan out of Kennett and Richard Rickman out of New Madrid, our role is to help you. We are not to do the work, but we will certainly help you. We can provide resources that you may or may not know about. We can connect you to people that you may or may not know about. So forth and so forth. And we will give guidance and support and suggestions like that. But we're not going to be the ones who are going to be making the phone call, so to speak. You have to own that for this particular project. So the leadership team gets together. And then the second thing that happens is we have a community-wide meeting. And in a community like Morehouse, I'm going to be looking for about 20 to 30 people for this all day long, one day meeting. From 9 to 4. Okay? We might get done a little earlier, I'll be honest, but from 9 to 4 is what I said. There is a lunch in there, so we'd be looking for the community to find some sponsor for the lunch. But at that meeting, we spend about 45 minutes talking about the current situation of Morehouse. Because many of us who live here, and I have the luxury of being an outsider because I see things that you don't see. Okay? When I work with communities, I'll say, well, what is that? And they're like, what are you talking about? I don't live here every day, so I don't have my community blinders on. When I come in, my eyes are wide open. So that 45-minute to an hour session helps you get rid of those community blinders so that we all start with a common understanding of Morehouse. Then we immediately move into strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that we all as a community share. Then we will start narrowing down the opportunities. Lunch. Come back. We will prioritize those opportunities. We'll probably have to do that one more time because I want to get us down to a doable number. These opportunities I'm talking about will be the committees that will be formed in relation to this truck stop idea. Okay? The question we're working around here is where would Morehouse be if a truck stop were located here? Okay? We know that's in relation to the I-57 coming through, and we know that's in relation to It may be a truck stop, it may be a truck stop restaurant or something, so we're using the word truck stop kind of liberally there, okay? So don't get hung up that we're going to get a Love's coming in here like it's over in Sykeston, or we're going to get a TA like there is, or something like that. It may not be a true traditional truck stop, or it may not be anything. I have already done some groundwork, and we've had some conversations, and there are some hurdles you're going to have to get over, okay? And that's going to be all part of this community meeting. After the community meeting, the end part of that day is the committees are set. You will decide when you're going to meet, where you're going to meet, every month for 1 hour. That's the beauty of this. We do not ask a ton of time on a monthly basis from the community members. It's 1 hour. Those committee meetings consist of the following agenda. What did we do last 30? What are we doing this 30? What are we going to do in the future 30? That's your discussion. If your committee chairs allow something else other than that, we'll have a talk with that committee chair. I know we're going to have some chit chat and such, I understand that. But my goal is to not tie you all down for a lot of stuff, but 1 hour a month. Now you got to go do the work after that committee meeting, yes. But for 1 hour a month, you are helping to move forward this opportunity. Extension will be with you through this process. The beauty of this also is we don't leave. After that one-day committee meeting, we don't leave. Mike is here, Richard is here, the other Richard. He's built like me, so you may get us confused, although I'm uglier, I think. But I am here. We will be here with you for the next 3 years or longer if needed to make this happen. Okay? If that's what we find out. Okay? So I don't want to take your time because we've got a lot of other things, but I'm open to questions on this. What kind of questions do you have?
I think
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
great. I think it would be a great thing to have a gas station and a restaurant here in our city, so we don't have to drive to Sykeston or DGA to get our gas for our lawnmowers or our vehicles. I think it would be a great opportunity, great improvement.
Keeping in mind that
And
it's...
tax
oh, sorry.
money will come in too.
Well, that's
So
true.
there you go.
The city knows that they're going to have to do some things, but at the same time, obviously, they want to be able to draw some revenue from it. Okay, I'm not going to hide that fact. Okay,
Yeah.
the city has to be able to do some things. Some of the retail site selectors for truck stops that I spoke to have said they like to deal with the city on their sites. So we know the city's going to be very involved in this. But the neat thing here is the city is wanting you to be involved in this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here tonight. Okay, I'm quite honest. They want the city, the residents, and there might be some people outside of the Morehouse city limits that might be affected by this. They would all be involved in this process.
It will be. We've got lots of little communities.
So
Yeah.
When is the first initial meeting? The long day? When is
that's
that?
to be decided yet because there's a contract that has to be signed. Okay, but it won't be until 2021. It probably won't be until 2021. Yes, ma'am.
What's our commitment as a city for the $2,500?
Zero. The council, I always get this wrong, New Madrid County Council of Mayors have already authorized that. So you are not on the hook for any of that $2,500.
That's right.
The thing that you would be responsible for is trying to find a sponsor for the lunch at that day. Okay? And maybe providing place for these committees to meet. Okay? So financially, you're not out any of the $2,500. The lunch, we take care of, out of the $2,500, we take care of all the copies that need to be passed out. The travel's taken care of. You're not responsible for the travel of our people. Those types of things. We take care of that part.
Sorry, let me
Sure.
clarify just a little bit. what is our commitment to receive the $2,500? What is our
Oh.
commitment?
I did misunderstand that completely.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. The mayor has our contract. We've already emailed it to him. And the chairman of the New Madrid County Council of Mayors, pending the approval and your discussion that will probably happen when I leave. If you all say yes, then Don will sign it, and then we're done. So what I need is for you all to help them make a decision, yes or no. Okay? Now, I'll be honest with you. If you say no, it's no skin off my back. If you say yes, then I am committed. Okay? So I'm not trying to sound I care or don't care. I'm not trying to sound like that at all. Because I want my neck of the woods. I come up from a line of political families. And I believe in pork. Bringing money back to my territory. Okay? To some people that's a dirty word, I know. And I sometimes get in trouble for that. But my family was a big believer in taking care of its own. I want to take care of my region. Even though I have the other 7 in the state of Missouri. I'm home, I grew up here. You know, I grew up in Jackson. I left, came back to take care of my parents, and I'm home there. I travel this region every week, okay? Visiting with communities, visiting with mayors, visiting with other people on opportunities like this. And then I do the same throughout the state also. But I would like for my home woods, my background, my backyard, to be able to do as much as they can to improve themselves. You know, does that answer your question?
So the mayor has a copy of the requirements, which you'll share with us?
The requirements are, you either say yes or no, and then they have to vote on it. And then Don will be the one who, because he's the one paying, he's the one that will sign it. But he has a copy of the contract to know what it's the payer will be Don over at New Madrid. Here's the invoice date that we will invoice. We agreed to do the one-day meeting and provide assistance for the next 3 years. I mean, there's nothing in there that you can't share, but the mayor knows that he since he's not paying for it, Don's the one who would sign it. Okay? Other questions?
Mr. Proctor, I've got one question about the agreement. You said a 3-year agreement, a 3-year commitment.
Uh-huh.
I think there's a mistype here. I think it just says 2 years in the contract, so I guess that can be adjusted.
Oh, yeah. But if you don't mind. Oh, it should be 2024. I will send you a new one. See, I told you I'm not perfect. But no, I will make that change here. Got that written down. Good catch. Yes, ma'am.
How do you sign up to get on with the board or whatever you're going to call it?
The local leadership team? Okay, once the contract has been signed and it's been sent up to campus, they've signed it, and it's sent back to copy to the mayor and copy to Don, then I will be having a conversation with the mayor on saying, what's our timing? It typically takes us about 2 months to get geared up. And that's not planning for the community meeting, because the leadership team is made up of 7 parts of a community. Excuse me, elected officials, Chamber of Commerce, economic development people, healthcare, businesses, nonprofit, faith-based, minority, youth opportunities. High education and businesses and citizenry are the people who are made up of the leadership team and then who attend the bigger community meeting. Okay, that's why 20 to 30 are at the community meeting, but about 10 are what I would like on the leadership team. Okay, so once we meet and we set the timeline, then we're going to send out information saying if you're interested, and the mayor and some other people will be talking to people to make sure we round out and meet those 7 types of criteria. Now, not every community has all 7. I know that. I've been to that. You know, you may not have a healthcare opportunity in Morehouse. So we let that go. You may not have a strong minority population in this town. Okay? we'll let that go. But we will make sure we've got what we can on the leadership team, because they become the recruiters for the community meeting then also. Okay, they go out and help recruit that 20 to 30 people for the community meeting. And so once we get the contract signed, once we get the meeting where we kind of start doing the timeline, then you'll start hearing things and things will start happening. But the community meeting will probably not happen, if it takes 2 months to get the LLT up and running, will probably be 2 to 3 months after that. So we're looking maybe towards the summer or so for the big meeting to happen. Yes, ma'am?
Is it gonna be out here? Will they do an overpass, or how will traffic get to the truck stop and all
Okay.
that?
There's no guarantee that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
I want to make that very clear. Just because you've done the work, you've prepared yourself for some things that could happen in the future. But there's no guarantee that this is going to happen. We believe you're going to have, I forget the department transportation term, interchange, off-ramp, on-ramps here at Morehouse when the I-57 is built. We believe that's going to happen. So it would be close to that. It's not going to be in the city. It would be on probably some of the farmland that is out there for this, because they're going to want large acreage for this to happen. Okay. But I cannot say this, there is no guarantee that this is going to happen. And if you go into this saying, oh, it's going to happen, don't do it, because I can't guarantee that. You can't guarantee that. The mayor and the city council, board of aldermen cannot guarantee that. This is a way to help you plan for it and to help increase your chances of making it happen, but there is no guarantee. The only certain things in life is taxes and death. Well, this is not one of those certain things. Other questions? Yes, sir.
Is it safe to say, like, you're asking for the community to be in this, a yes or no? Is it safe to say there's businesses that are, I don't know, already in contact, or, you know, something that the business are interested in doing something like that here?
Well, I can only tell you
Well, we
this.
can say a yes or no, you know what I mean, so.
Yeah. I can only tell you this, that when the mayor and I first spoke several months ago, I talked to 3 retail site locators for truck stops. And you're going to have some hurdles you're going to have to jump before they would consider you. One, you're too close to Love's. But I talked to them because they have a retail site selector that I can get a hold of. Okay? So you're going to have to, if you have Richard, if you have an exchange or a on-off ramp, they're going to probably want to be something here. I'll be honest. I can't guarantee that. But, and it may be a Casey truck stop, which, if you know, those are small versions of the big Loves. They have like 1 or 2 showers, they have gas pumps, they have the Casey's General Merchandise Store, things like that. Unlike Love's, which has, Dunkin' Donuts and a crispy fried chicken, and they have a retail store, and they have the restrooms and the showers and the laundry and 37 pumps of gas. It just depends on, one, the incentives that can be given to entice them, and that's something the city's going to have to look into. 2, how ready can you be when that happens? So there would be people interested. I can't say who and I can't say how many because I honestly don't know. But I did talk to 3 and they gave us some things that the mayor and I shared about. So good question. Other questions? So the process is this, in this summation then. We'll form a local leadership team if we decide to go forward with this, who will be the leaders of this project. And it comes from the community. Okay? Just because these people are sitting up here tonight does not guarantee that they are the leaders. For me, it's you that are the leaders of this project. After that, then we move into the community meeting. After that, then we move into the monthly committee meetings. Okay? And those meet every month at same time, same place, for 1 hour. Okay? And the beauty of this process is it's action-oriented. We constantly are keeping moving, because we looked at what we did, we look at what we're going to do, and we look at what we have to do in the future. Okay? So we call it the 30-30-30 format. Okay? Yes, sir.
Did you bring any cards? Got a card?
They're right up here, sir. And I'll leave them there. So, yes, sir.
Do we know when that 57 is going to be coming through here? I mean, do we have, we don't, I mean, they're working on it right now, aren't they? I mean, I'm not saying right here, but like north or south or east.
Well, there is some work being done, but the Missouri MoDOT is still in planning stages. You know, and we all know how that can be.
Yeah.
You know, they are in planning stages. We know it's going to happen. We're confident that it's going to happen.
I guess that's a three-year window you're making here.
Well,
Basically,
no. Our 3-year commitment is to you now. Regardless. I mean, if they said 7 years from now, we're still going to be here. That's the beauty of extension. We're in your backyard. Okay? We're in your backyard. We are not here today, gone tomorrow. Now, I'll be honest, you could pay someone, a consultant, money to do this. You could pay them good money. They deliver you the opportunity and then leave. We're still here. And we're a lot less expensive than a consultant. I work with communities who'll pay a consultant $150,000. Now, your community couldn't afford that size of a consultant, but there's about 870 people in your town as of the last census that was taken. You might pay someone $50,000 to do this job if you hired someone to do that. We're at $2,500. And then we stay in your community, working for you. Questions from here? Yes?
I guess before we go any further, why don't we maybe see a show of hands of the people, see if they're interested, and then we can do a vote among the council and see if that's, because we can sit here and talk all night, and if we get a no, we're kind of blowing in the wind. So, and if we do, at least the people will know.
Do you want me to leave?
No.
Okay.
Why don't we see a show of hands of everybody to be interested in this project?
Yay, yes.
Okay, pretty much everybody. Any opposition to it? All right. So we got commitment from the citizens. Now let's go with the council.
And I will have the correction tomorrow, and I'll send you a copy of it. And you know, I've not sent it to Don because I'm waiting for you to say yay or nay to it. So I will send, so you know what the contract actually says. I'll make that change. You'll have that tomorrow.
Now, do we want to move forward with it?
You know I'm 100% on board with it.
Yes. Why not? All right. Now, from here now, you're saying that the next move that we make then is for me to get with, or Don Brown needs to sign a contract.
I'll send it to you first so you know, not that I'm trying to hide anything, because I'm not, because I'm giving you full disclosure, but I want you to see what I'm going to send to Don Brown.
And then once Don Brown signs it, that authorizes payment to your
Yes.
office, and then you move forward. Then you'll be getting back in contact.
I'll be getting back with you,
So
yes.
we'll know when we'll have our meeting.
Yes, sir. We'll be doing a planning meeting to set up some timelines, and then that's when we go to work to get the local leadership team, and then we'll have our meeting to talk about roles, responsibilities, and then from there, we'll move to getting the community recruited for the community meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay? Anything else?
I don't think.
Put on motion that.
Thank you for coming down and speaking with us.
Not a problem.
Let's do ours in the form of a motion. Do I need a motion? You making the motion that we approve it?
Don't you love parliamentary procedure?
I'll second.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Then I'll get out of your hair and let you get on with your meeting. Thank you all, and
you.
you'll be hearing from us.
All right, thank you, Richard.
Take
Appreciate
care.
it, Mr. Parker.
All right, moving back on with our agenda. The next line of business that we had was our dues with Missouri Rural Water in the amount of $221.
Make a motion to pass the dues for 22120 to the MRWA.
Got a motion? Second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Okay. This is generally the time of year that we discuss bonus, Christmas bonuses for the city employees. I think in the past we've had, what, $50?
Have we, in the past, have we paid for police deputies and fire chief and
Well, I think in the past for a while, we ain't had no chief, no deputies.
Deputies, yes, fire chief, no.
Yeah, I think fire chief's not ever been on here before.
and treasurer? We paid the treasurer before too in the past.
In the past, no.
What say y'all?
Water operators in the past was no. It was just city workers.
Well, like Mr. Stoker, he just started, city treasurer, never gave bonus for that. We've got three deputies. They're part-time, some not weekly at all. I don't see the justification for bonuses for them. You know, we've been paying late fees. There was late fees for cell phone on this financial statement that was just passed. I think bonuses aren't guaranteed.
So what do y'all want to do?
Are Kyle still on probation? Still?
And like the collector and police chief, those aren't technically employees, right? Those are elected officials.
Well, that, what you're talking about there, it whittles it down to 3 people. Is that what you guys are saying?
So the three you're talking about is city clerk, Bo, and Dee.
And that's what I was marking off as y'all were discussing it, so that's what's left. Thanks, Chris. Carl?
What's his name, is old D. Heavy, right? Is that what you think, Joe?
Well, I was asking, the collector and the chief of police are elected officials. They're set by an ordinance. The hourlies on this list would be, the city clerk is an hourly employee, Bo and Dee are hourly employees. Kyle just started. He's an hourly employee. The following on this list are 3 deputies. I can't see justifying paying them a Christmas bonus. Not when
off of that. And also, I'd like to see contractor's equipment that we're insuring for $34,000 and the miscellaneous equipment that we're insuring for $82,311. And also the 11 vehicles that we've got listed here, there's no itemization of those vehicles. So,
What does everybody think about that?
we didn't have any more bids in before this.
You want to make that in the motion form?
I'll make a motion, we accept the insurance bid from Countywide Insurance, Missouri Rural Services for our next policy term, starting January 1st. And I asked that the agent supply the information for the properties that are insured, the vehicles insured, and the contractor's equipment and the miscellaneous equipment that we're insuring.
Okay, have a motion on the floor?
I've got a quick question. You say countywide? On the back it says insurance company Star.
Probably provided by, under Countywide.
Star Insurance is the insurance company, Countywide is the agent.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have a, bill number 696, collector salary, this is one that we worked on before. Frank, you want to read it?
Bill number 696, an ordinance of the city of Morehouse, New Madrid County, Missouri, repealing ordinance number 577 and setting a salary for the city collector. Now therefore, be it ordained by the governing authority of the city of Morehouse, New Madrid County, Missouri as follows. Section 1, ordinance number 577 is hereby repealed. Section 2, the Board of Aldermen of the city of Morehouse, Missouri does hereby set and affix the salary of the elected city collector of the city of Morehouse at $1,785.34 per month, which is $21,242 a year, and to be paid semi-monthly on the 1st and 15th of each month. Section 3, Section 2 shall be in force and in effect from and after the April 2021 election. Section 4, the Board of Aldermen of the city of Morehouse, Missouri does hereby set and affix the salary of the elected city collector of the city of Morehouse at $1,932.67 per month, which is $23,192 a year, and to be paid semi-monthly on the 1st and 15th of each month. Section 5. Section 4 shall be in full force and effect from and after January 1st, 2022. Section 6. The Board of Aldermen of the city of Morehouse, Missouri does hereby set and affix the salary of the elected city collector of the city of Morehouse at $2,800 per month, which is $24,960 a year, and to be paid semi-monthly on the 1st and 15th of each month. Section 7. Section 6 shall be in full force and effect from and after January 1st, 2023. All ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith and hereby repealed, passed and approved this blank day in blank 2020.
Randy? $2,080, not $2,800.
Okay, $2,080. Let me read that section again. Section 6, the Board of Aldermen of the city of Morehouse, Missouri does hereby set and affix the salary of the elected city collector of the city of Morehouse at $2,080 per month, which is $24,960 a year, and to be paid semi-monthly on the 1st and 15th of each month. Thank you.
Okay. Before I ask the board to vote, let me kind of explain to the public. What this is doing is trying to stay in compliance with state law, and that's setting on minimum wage. As of January 1st, I think minimum wage goes up to $10.45. Our collector right now is not making minimum wage. After the first of the year, this is going to comply that. The collector, whoever it is, cannot be given a raise during their term. So what this is doing is to keep us in compliance, is that every year that it goes up, the minimum wage goes up, this is putting that into effect to keep us legally. Now that's not just for the collector, I mean, that's just for city employees as well. They'll automatically get a raise if they're below minimum wage. You know, they'll go up to that minimum wage. So that's what this is about. It's not like we're sitting here trying to give the collector a pay raise. It's that we're trying to stay in compliance with what the law requires of us. Now, having said that, I need a motion to accept this ordinance.
I'll make a motion we accept Bill 696.
I'll second.
All in favor? We just took care of 7. All right, I guess Jonathan maybe you don't have a representative either. Jonathan Hayes approached me about starting up a food bank. And he was just needing a place to where he could use for storage. We have several empty rooms or places here on the school place here, so I didn't see any reason why we couldn't give him a room that he could store his whatever gets donated. Anyhow, he also had addressed to me about the use of the possibility of renting the grade school. His church is coming up with a deal for them to be able to use it. I don't know, I don't want to try to explain it because I don't know exactly. I was hoping that he'd be here so he could kind of explain it, or to have a representative here tonight. But
I'm sorry, I didn't know what building that you're talking about.
Okay, what he's wanting to do is eventually rent the grade school for their use, their churches.
Oh,
But
okay.
he's not here to try to explain what the usage and all that stuff is. For tonight, I'm just saying that he does want a place just to store food, like for the food bank. So we only got all these rooms over here that are empty. So I told him I didn't see any reason why he couldn't store food there. That's going to be distributed among the community, whatever. And so anyhow, I'm just going to wait on this particular building over here until he shows up or has a representative here to be able to explain that a little bit better.
Can I interrupt you for a second? We need to make sure that we read our bills for 2 readings, first reading and second reading. And from my understanding, this was the first reading
Yes,
of that bill.
yes.
Okay. Is it your intent to put that on next month for a second reading?
We can.
Or do you want to do it as an emergency ordinance tonight because of time constraints?
Yeah, well, it doesn't actually take effect until April.
Okay, so you're going to put it on next
We can
month?
put it on next month and read it again.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
So will that motion before this?
No, you read for the first reading, and then we'll read it again next month, and then it'll pass as an ordinance next month.
Quick question. On the minimum wage going up in January, should it be brought up now or in January? No?
It'll be all right.
Okay. Thank you.
Heather, one thing about the food bank or the food storage, can you check with the agent, insurance agent, to make sure it's okay as far as liability goes on that, as far as food stored and?
I'll also ask him about their insurance, if they have insurance.
Will it have to be heated?
Well, the room that I'm providing to him is good.
It's heated.
Where it used to be my office. Okay, we get everything settled there. Next thing on the agenda, I don't know how many of you are familiar with this, and it was approached, I have to approach the board about this. I don't know if any of you's been paying attention to this American Ghost Project. Any of you seen it on social media or whatever? I haven't. Anyhow, these people showed up here. They went to the funeral. I don't know what kind of process or what they did or whatever. But anyhow, they do have insurance documentation for all that stuff, but they wanted to look at the school and look at the old city hall. And of course, I told them that's something that would have to be brought up to this board. And I don't know if they just want to get in there and do their own little thing exactly, but I told them, I said, well, I'll bring it up to the board, and if the board approves of it, you can go with it. But they did show me documentation where they do sign and relieve us of any liability. They will do provide insurance, you know, make sure that the city's not liable for anything.
I got a question. How did they get insurance? How do they have insurance when the building's condemned?
Yes.
And they don't have, the building don't have electricity to it? Did they get a business license in Morehouse?
No.
Because they profited down there over the weekend. And they should have got a business license if they would have profited off of it.
If it's a one-time thing, I don't see no problem with that. If they was gonna do that on a weekly basis, yes, they'd have to show up everything.
All right, because they was on Facebook, said that the mayor, you know, they had a big old spiel. And if somebody would have got hurt down there, and where they said that the mayor approved it, city more, whatever, if they got hurt in that building, it could come back on y'all.
No, we didn't approve anything. The only
That's
thing we,
not what it said on
well,
Facebook.
well, what we did approve of is, Jack and I went down there to make sure for what they was gonna do, and in the areas that they was gonna do it, that they were safe for people to walk through it without getting hurt.
Well, I know that.
Well, they said
building
that was, staying overnight. Did you see that?
Is the building condemned?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's bad shape, really.
Well,
Because I was
So we
looking
can
at
allow the
It's
public in there
condemned,
with
it's
it being
condemned for
condemned?
two reasons. One was the basement, what used to stay full of water. The areas that was bad, they sealed the doors so no one could get in it. The other reason would have been, the ceiling, because it was leaking. And I told them, if it's raining that night, you don't need to even be in here.
Well, apparently, in some part of the ceiling has collapsed. Did
Well,
you-
they took down a whole bunch of stuff. We went over and looked at it, make sure that it was safe enough for people to walk into it.
Just so people are aware, I sent an email because several people had contacted me regarding some of the issues we've heard here tonight. So I sent an email to City Hall addressing a few of these concerns, and I never got a response.
That's my issue, because when I bought the business down here, they was on my butt to get a business license. And that's just storage over there. If I went on and got my business license, did what I had to do, and these waterheads come over here and want to profit off of it, and they don't have to go by the rules that everybody else has to go by. That ain't right. That's my whole issue with it. I mean, there's not even electricity to the building. They're using my electricity.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let them do it.
So, no, it's not our property. But we can't tell somebody they can't go onto that property, it's not our property.
You stay the night there?
Well, and there again, like the council was saying back here, that is not our property. You know, we can't control or regulate. Our condemnation is stating that you cannot live in the place.
I understand. I'm just making sure, you know, what's good for one is good for all.
Yeah, well, like I said, if it was more than one time shot, license and everything else would have been required.
But if the board approves for them to have access to the old city hall and the old elementary school, then they will continue to profit. So at that time, then you require them to have a business license?
Well, listening to the city attorney back here, that she's recommending against it, so I mean.
Dangerous, the old building's dangerous down there.
Thing is, if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. It's interesting. The whole little show.
Okay. So if the city attorney recommends against it, let's just move on.
And they was all on there too.
Is it gonna be on TV?
She's
It's on
recommending against it. resolves the deal with being one?
Nope.
Okay,
This part is, this one's not.
okay. Ben, our, new water plant operator said he'd like to have a printer and scanner for the water plant. And actually, we have a computer there, but we've been told that we don't need to utilize that thing for anything other than what it's performing now. Pardon me?
I got it.
Yeah, well, I was just getting to the fact that the computer that we got in there, don't need to go, on anything else other than, what it's doing to the plant, because if we open it up and somebody hacks it, they can do severe damage to that. So Jackie did manage to get us a computer for that he can use over there, but he would also like to have a printer scanner for that.
He's wanting a printer to keep out the.
Yes.
Ever got any price?
He wants a printer scanner to stay at the water plant. I have one at City Hall. From what I've looked at online, which everybody's out right now because of Christmas, but
If he was working with regular business hours, he'd be like everybody else and utilize, go to City Hall, make a copy, but he's wanting to work after hours, stay here and work.
You said we've got an extra one?
no, we had a extra computer that we moved over there to accommodate him, but I don't have an extra printer scanner just laying around.
What's the cost? You want to put it out?
I've looked on Staples and Walmart, 130 to 200, just depending on what they have in stock right now with Christmas.
Hey, Rain, do we have that one still on?
It's not any good.
The mom, still in the box?
Oh, that one. Man, brand new at the house, they don't have to use one,
Which one? Both of them, combination?
I'd have to check. I'm gonna check on that.
Jackie, you don't have to be in there.
Can we get get an approval for it if we're gonna do that? If yours don't work out. I mean,
Make a motion that we go ahead and go forward with the printer scanner for the water plant. If the donation that I have at my house is not, our work list is not gonna work.
Yeah. Okay, have motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay, do have a resolution for the street drainage project. Where I got it at. You have your copy? Everybody have a copy?
It was in a separate email. Yeah, the resolution. I may not printed mine off either.
Okay, what this is about is a street drainage project that was available, I guess it's come available back last March, and Nikki,
Mitzi.
brought it to my attention, wanted to know if we thought might be interested. Said that there wouldn't be any money involved as far as the city's concerned, that we would have to put some in-kind labor. And it comes in different sectors or different sections that we can do it in. It's more than a one-time shot, but at either rate, what it entails, they go through and cut all the ditches and go back through there and redo the streets, and they'll do a certain section at a time. But in order to start trying to seek the funding, she claims that the money's available, but we need to go through a certain process to do it. One of the things we've got to do is pass a resolution, try to get this moving. forward. So, anyhow, that's what I've got here tonight is a resolution for it. Randy, you want to read it, please?
Resolution, a resolution of the City of Morehouse, Missouri stating intent to seek funding through the Community Development Block Grant Program and authorizing the mayor to pursue activities in an attempt to secure funding. Whereas Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 does state as its primary objective the development of viable urban communities by providing decent housing, suitable living environment, and expanding economic opportunities principally for persons of low and moderate income. Whereas Title I does offer to communities the opportunity of monetary assistance in accomplishing its stated primary objectives. Whereas the Missouri Department of Economic Development is designated to award community development block grant funding under Title I, and whereas the city does have areas of need which may be addressed through the Community Development Block Grant Program. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City of Morehouse, Missouri, that it desires to participate with the Missouri Department of Economic Development in the improvement of our community under the activities authorized pursuant to the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974. Therefore, be it further resolved that the Mayor of Morehouse, Missouri hereby is authorized to prepare and submit documents which are necessary in applying for funding and establishing an administrative organization to implement activities pursuant to the Act. Therefore, be it further resolved that the applicant, sub-applicant will dedicate $0 of local cash funds and $51,000 of in-kind materials or labor to be used in this project. Continue? Or do I need to read the whole thing? Do I need to read the whole thing?
Need a motion.
Just one quick question, so I understand. By motion and voting on this, all we're doing here is seeking funding,
You're submitting an application.
submitting an application for funding.
Yes.
No one's guaranteed anything
No.
outside of that.
We can't do anything until we until we get funded. Once we get funded, then we can start looking for engineer, we start looking for administrator, then after that happens, and as we move forward, we'll eventually get to award contracts or whatever.
That's what I need clarification.
All right.
I'll make the motion that we approve the street drainage CDBG grant. Is that how we want to word that?
I would think so.
Motion. This is in our minutes, correctly?
Is this just going to be for streets and drainage, or is a block grant is for housing? Is it going to be for housing too? It's just.
No, the way I understood her when we talked about it is that we qualify, because of the flooding, we qualify for the streets and the drainage. And that's what we're
And
seeing.
they'll fix the streets also.
Yeah,
No, it's not
Some
100%.
streets.
Yeah, it's not 100%.
yeah, it's not everybody. So what they'll do is they'll come in and do a certain section of town. And what they do is they come in and look at it and say, well, this section probably needs it worse than the other, so we'll start here. And then next year, we'll do another section and move there. But they're only allowing so much money per year to do that. So like this year, I think it's like $486,000 that we're seeking. And then next year, it'll be a different figure. And of course, you have to wait until funding's available.
Did you have a motion for the resolution?
He motioned over here.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay. I think I only had one other little item that was brought up to me. It was concerning a gentleman that supposedly tore up his car on one of our streets. And, I don't know if he showed up tonight or not. Which he's not. But anyhow, he was wanting to know if the county was willing to offset some of the cost on it. He's not here, so.
Should we table that, or?
Yeah.
He can come to the next meeting.
Yeah, because we don't know this. All right, and that's all that I have, so move on to the board. Anything?
Get it. We gotta get those guys down here to pick it up. We done okay to get it checked out, so we might as well just call them and have them come and get it. And what I seen Bowen and using today, fighting a losing battle.
Got that? Anything else?
That's about it.
Go.
Yes, 2021 budget. That was not on the agenda, and, you know, I sent you an email.
Yeah.
We talked, and Heather and Judy were supposed to be getting some figures run for us.
I did talk to both of them, and my understanding she
I
had,
submitted mine to y'all
I don't know
a
about
couple months
you,
ago.
but I wanted to try to set up tonight a work session strictly for just the budget.
Budget meeting.
Yeah. Probably the fourth is next Wednesday, I'm thinking.
For when?
The fourth, is that,
2 weeks.
that's 2 weeks, is that soon enough?
So you're talking about January 4th?
Yeah. That gets us past the holidays, and then that way we can make sure that everybody has all the tickets they need, but
Is that gonna be like a work session?
it'll be a work session just strictly for that, so that way we can iron it out, and then we can address it in January. That sound all right, everybody?
What time are we doing now?
6 o'clock, all right, Mr.
You said 6 o'clock?
Yes. If that's all right with everybody. Okay.
Next item I have is the sewer jetter. Oh,
He just mentioned it.
Carl just brought that up?
Yeah, so we might as well get them people come in.
Okay, so co-equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that I brought the bid.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, final item I have here is, a resident called me today, and I don't know if they're in attendance tonight, about their water being disconnected. And informed me that City Hall told them an alderman would have to authorize the service to be turned back on. Well, we as aldermen don't have the authority to send the maintenance guy or the public works guys out to shut someone's water off or to turn it back on. That's the city ordinance on that. That's in the city collector's wheelhouse. If someone's delinquent, the city collector is the one who has the authority to send out to have the water services disconnected, not aldermen. So I'm not sure why, and like I said, this was secondhand, or I got it come from, they was told from City Hall, and they phoned me with this matter, and you know, I think it needs to come from you or somebody up here that's not something that an alderman can send somebody out to turn back on their water.
And you're correct about that. I think, I don't know how I got switched over, but the way I understood it was, this individual was complaining to them, and they were instructed, hey, if you want to complain to your office. You know, voice the complaint. I don't think it was intention to tell them that, hey, you can authorize anything.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, because I want it on record that I don't have the authority to order someone's water to be disconnected or reconnected.
Can I ask a question and back up a second on the sewer jetter? Are you gonna motion that out, or are we just gonna get it fixed and go on with our lives? What are we doing here?
Do we know, remember
Because
when
that
the time
invoice was
cost?
over 500, wasn't it?
Yeah, that estimate was somewhere, I can't remember off the top of my head, and I don't. Yeah, it was over 3,000. He said that was a without having it in his shop, he didn't know that was just a ballpark.
We need to motion that out to get that taken care of then, because it's pretty solid now. make sure everybody's in agreement.
What's your ordinance say? What's your ordinance cap?
Not, normally, it's a $500, you know, like I'm authorized to spend up to $500, anything over the top of that, unless it's an emergency.
Got it.
You know, the way we were before, we don't want the water plant down just because I gotta wait for a board meeting. But if it's non-emergency, then it's $500 cap. So, give me a motion on the sewer debt, if we're gonna do it. To authorize the repairs.
I'll go for it. Like I said, we're gonna have to have it, no matter what. You're that gonna buy a new one.
Okay, we have a motion then to go ahead and get that.
For co-equipment to come
Yeah.
get the jetter and take it up there and
For
repair
repairs.
it? I'll second it.
All in favor? Anything else? You have anything?
No.
Chris?
We didn't get our share of the CARES money from the county. All the other cities did, but we apparently didn't get our request in on time. They said they had talked to you guys at that meeting.
At the commissioners meeting?
On the fireman's gear?
Where they said they'd reimburse us for law enforcement's payroll.
No, we never, they talked about it, but that was not anything that Randy and I went down there. That should have been through the city hall. That had nothing to do with me.
Huh? I'm just saying what they said.
Well, then, that's not any way I remember.
Anything else?
Did the city hall submit for reimbursement down there?
Yeah, when they called me and said, hey, we're writing checks. You guys never got us that bill. So I had her write a letter and I took it down there. And they said, it's too late, we already sent checks. We talked to two aldermen in that meeting.
No. I see how this is going, but no.
But you can go down there and talk to them again. That's just what they told me and that's just what I'm telling you.
Okay. Appreciate you bringing that to us.
Yeah, let me get that. Who's the representative for the fire department? Okay, Dylan.
The only thing we've got is, the last couple of years, the city has given us some money to help purchase Christmas candy. We were wondering if y'all can do it again this year. How much everything?
$500 to $1,000,
Big one.
that's a, that's a big
Well,
spread.
I mean, for years, I think it used to give $100, but basically, at one time, they never spent maybe that amount. So, you know, it's growing, so.
And how much did you say y'all already have?
On candy or?
Candy?
On donations?
Donations?
We've had about $500 in donations.
Okay. Well, can you provide enough candy for what you normally do for that amount, or?
We normally spend, last year we spent 2,000. We made 1,000 bags of candy to hand out. This year, I think the bill is 1,500, and we only made 900 bags. We're just asking the city for a little help, and we will get it covered, or have it covered, if the city can help us at this time. It's ordered, it should be here tomorrow.
The money that you're thinking about on the bonuses for Christmas people, why don't you just put that money for that, because that goes for the whole community.
Did y'all go around, asking any of the churches in town?
Oh, well, I take it back. I don't know if he's asked the churches. I know James has a list. He's asked quite a few people. I can't tell you for sure who all he has asked.
I know my church has always donated, and as far as I know, nobody ever come by or said anything. Well, they was always good to see us. Well, I mean, I don't know how we stand financially, but if we could afford 5, we'll try to do that, and hopefully you can get, like I said, my church, that makes you 6. You know, let's get you up there close.
I'll make a donation individually.
I'll make a motion that we give $500.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor and a second. Anybody else?
Yay?
$500.
I didn't hear Carl's vote.
That's all you guys had? Jack?
Only thing I got, maybe on the personnel meeting is maybe advertise for a court clerk, so we start having court again.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I think I had 2 sign-ups for tonight. Eric and Kevin Kufner. Oh, right. All right.
We want to know what we need to do to get our building passed, and if it's not possible, what our next step is, and we have a building permit for the foundation, start the foundation.
Okay. I really think what killed that is that, I remember it was like section 4 in that ordinance states that the building cannot look like a shed.
Yeah.
And if there's a way to add on to that thing to make it
Well,
look
yeah,
like
we
that.
planned on adding on to it, because it's not quite 600 square foot. You have to, it's 480. We were going to add on to that.
But on your addition, then you need to get the shed looking, whatever out of it. Now, does it meet all the other?
Requirements?
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to. We had someone that was going to come in and spray foam the floor and the ceiling, and it's already been, the electrical's already been done, and the insulation and drywall, all that was already there before the purchase.
Do you have any idea what your finished product is going to look like? I mean, can you provide the board maybe a drawing? It don't have to be.
I can get you a printout or something.
Why don't you try to do that, so that way we can kind of look and see what you're talking about doing and
So
stuff.
is it like the front of the building that's not working, or?
Well, I mean, from what it looks right now, it looks like a long shed.
Are we talking about the tiny house?
Yeah.
The quote unquote tiny house
Yeah.
that's 600 square foot, has to be on a solid foundation, has to be able to sustain 90-mile-an-hour winds. They were supposed to get approval from the board prior to it coming into town, a building permit? You know,
No.
were you provided a copy of the ordinance?
Yes, I do have a copy of the ordinances. I got them, right before I think it got delivered.
Okay, well, the board discussed this and we voted no.
Okay.
Well, that's what she's here tonight, to find out why. That's why I'm telling you, I knew that there are several sections that didn't get.
Yeah.
Which was, D, on section 1D, the buildings converted to a tiny house are not accepted and must have characteristics of a typical home. And then what else? I mean, we didn't start and finish because we were told that we would know about the building permit.
Yeah.
We were starting with the foundation, and then after that, you know, we were kind of shut down. We just quit because, you know, why make any more progress whenever we were told no? So,
Well, and that was the main reason for us, that you not bring it in until you
Right.
have approval. And it kind of started backwards. You got the buildings here and,
well, see, we were new to all this, and it was already purchased before we got the ordinances, and so they were kind of like, when we're going to deliver, and they just delivered it. I don't know, so what you're saying is that if we just start with the foundation and then build it on.
Well, the way the ordinance reads to me, to get 600 square foot, sticking multiple sheds together or portable buildings, I think that was one of the reasons why, you know, the ordinance was
yeah.
proposed to pass prior to me getting on the council, but was to eliminate some of these issues in the future.
Right. Well, I mean, it wasn't going to have two portable sheds. It was going to just have an add-on to.
But you're saying now that you're better off if you just go ahead and dig a foundation and just build a house.
Yeah, build a foundation and build a house on top of it.
So then on that case, then you need to get a building permit, and in it, you need to show us what you're going to do as far as you build a house.
Okay. I mean, can we just start with the foundation and then go from there with a, I mean, because I was told to put in an application for the foundation.
Yeah. Well, when you build a permit, that's going to include your foundation. And then if you're going to build something, you need to show us what you're going to build. What the,
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Well, I guess that's it then. When's the next board meeting?
We usually meet the second Monday of every month. So it'll be January 14th, or no, 12th. 11th, sorry. All right.
Here's your soda, little boy.
Tim?
Yes, I was approached by Fire Chief James Whitley on working on the rescue truck that won't run, that hadn't run in several months. And I was wanting to ask if anybody had any objections to me working on it. Free of charge, not charging anything, donating. Just wanted to know if anybody had any objections to it on the council.
I don't know about the board meeting.
Okay. Well, I could have went to each and every one of you, this way I catch you all together. Number two, will the city be willing to buy the parts to fix it once I figure out exactly what's wrong with it? I've already took a glance at it, hooked a scanner to it. We're not building no pressure, so I don't know if it's the high pressure pump or if it's the injector's bad. It's one or the other in the high pressure system.
Do you have any kind of guesstimate about the cost?
Yes, I made some calls today to see what a high pressure pump would cost. They run about $700 for the pump. But if it's the injectors, there's 8 of them in there. New ones are like $255 a piece, rebuilds are about $175. So you're looking roughly a little over $1,400 for rebuilt ones, or upwards of $2,000 for new ones. So, I mean, hopefully it's not the injectors and it's the pump, the cheaper of it. Because I didn't want them to have to drag it to my shop and then,
Yeah.
you know, I get it all apart and we don't fix it. Just kind of wanted to let y'all be aware of what it could be, price wise. Diesels are expensive.
I understand that. I guess one thing that we need to look at is, which I don't have no problem with you doing it, or as far as that, if we approve of the funding, but we need to make
Right.
sure that, do we just go with you, you know, as far as the city's concerned, is it something that we need to offer out for bid?
I don't think so, it's great.
Yeah, I
No,
know.
I'm looking at the parts.
About the parts?
Yeah.
We need to make sure. we
Yeah, I
have
mean, you
parts.
get parts wherever you want.
Yeah.
This was just one of the sources I know that you would buy the parts from. I'm not buying parts.
Yeah.
I'll just leave you to whoever the cheapest one is. You write them a check, you buy the parts. I've got no hand in handling no money.
But all you're asking those is if you can get us bid, say, on these parts from, say 2 or 3 people.
Yes.
And bring
I
them
can do
aboard,
that.
and then that way it'd be fair to
Right.
say that we're not doing
Right.
something there. Yeah, but as far as I'm concerned, as far as him doing the work, I don't think about that at all. But does that sound fair to everybody? Can I get that in a motion form?
Yep. Make a motion that we allow Tim Shears to work on the rescue truck for free of charge